Hello friends, welcome back to Life Lessons. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that will inspire you to explore and break your shackles. It will motivate you to have an open mind so that you can make progress in life beyond your imagination. This is the story of a poor boy who lived in a small village in the Guangxi district of China. The boy was named Wang Wei. He lived with his family and his 7 siblings. He was the youngest in the family. Wang Wei's village was a very poor village with no roads or electricity. This was the time during the early 1990s when China was still struggling to fight poverty. Wang Wei was a curious kid right from the beginning. He always wanted to learn new things. During his childhood, he used to ask his father and other villagers questions like how the crops would grow on their own and how it would suddenly start raining. People in his village were not literate. Nobody went to school and everyone survived on agriculture. Their village was located far away from any major city and they had to walk for hours on foot before they could reach a major highway, from where they used to get the bus to the nearest city. The villagers were very poor, and life was very difficult in the village. Despite all the hardships, the villagers loved their village. They never wanted to go outside or work in a city. In fact, they had no one from their village who had ever worked in a city or even in some other village. But Wang Wei was different. He wanted to see what was outside their village. As he grew older, his curiosity increased. One day, a group of travelers was passing through their village. They stopped at their village for some rest and refreshments. Wang Wei started talking to them. He found out that the travelers had come from a place called Shanghai. They told him about large buildings, beautiful wide roads, and millions of people in a single city. Wang Wei could not believe it. He saw the pictures and he was stunned. Seeing Wang Wei's enthusiasm, one of the travelers gave him an invitation to visit Shanghai. He wrote his address at the back of a beautiful postcard that had a picture of Shanghai on it. He told Wang Wei that he could offer him work in the city if he ever wanted to come there. Wang Wei was delighted by the offer. He wanted to go there immediately, but the traveler told him that he would be back in Shanghai after a month, so Wang Wei should visit him after a month. The travelers went their way and left Wang Wei with the most valuable thing he had ever received: a postcard with the address of one of the travelers from Shanghai. It was his hope towards exploring the world and moving towards a better life. 1 month passed quickly. The time for Wang Wei's departure finally came. His mother, his father, his entire family, and even the entire village had gathered. But they did not gather to say goodbye to him. They had gathered to stop him from going to Shanghai. They told him that city life was terrible and that something could happen to him on the way. They told him that he did not have enough money and that he would not survive a day. None of the villagers had ever been to Shanghai. They were afraid. But Wang Wei told them one thing. He told them if millions of people were living there, it was possible for him to live there. He promised them that he would return, and he went on a journey that changed everything. Time passed by. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. There was no sign of Wang Wei. A few years passed, and no one ever heard of Wang Wei. The villagers used to tell his story as to how he had gone towards Shanghai, and he probably died on the way. Their fear of leaving the village was even more strengthened. One day, the villagers woke up to the sound of large vehicles. They rushed outside thinking that the army was taking over their village or some other country had attacked them. They all rushed out their homes and stood in awe. There were several 4x4 SUVs that they had never seen before. The vehicles were parked at the entrance of the village. A few men came out of the vehicles. Among them was a familiar face. It was Wang Wei. He walked towards his parents and hugged them, while the men who had come with him waited outside of the village. Wang Wei was changed. He looked like a modern man. The villagers could not believe that Wang Wei was alive. Wang Wei told them how he had gone to Shanghai after a journey of more than a month. He told them that the man he went on to working for was a huge industrialist. Wang Wei worked for him for 6 years. He worked really hard and learned new skills thanks to the personal interest his employer took in him. Wang Wei told them that he was now the head of one of the major departments in his employer's steel industry. Wang Wei told the villagers about life in the city and how the world had progressed. He had also bought them plenty of items to make their life easier. Wang Wei took his family to Shanghai, who lived with him thereafter. But Wang Wei did not forget the rest of the villagers and initiated many development projects in his village. Wang Wei went on to starting several businesses of his own, and he became one of the richest men in China. Had Wang Wei not broken the imaginary shackles of fear that held him and other villagers back, he would have remained in the village for the rest of his life. His village would have remained impoverished, and he would never have gone on to living up to his true potential. Most people live in a self-imposed prison that restricts them from achieving great things in life. You have to explore outside of what you already know to really grow in life. Don't get trapped at one place because of what other people think. Make your own decisions, take calculated risks, and you will achieve things that you cannot comprehend right now. Friends, if you like this story, show your support by liking the video and sharing it with your friends. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. Until next time!